Hello, my dear patrons, and thank you for joining me here. This is Kathy speaking, and we are looking into the year of 2023. I hope that you are all doing well, and always a pleasure to be here with you. Okay, this year is going to be quite an interesting year, as we've got massive changes and shifts in the energy, and that usually happens when we've got the outer planets that are changing signs, therefore changing the energy. Those that are new here, welcome on board, and thank you so much to all my patrons that have been supporting me through the whole year and even before that. Thank you so much, and I'd like to wish you all a happy new year of 2023. And looking just at the numerology of 2023, 2 and 2 and 3 equals 7. So it is a number 7 year. First of all, 7 in the tarot is the Chariot. We know that the Chariot does speak to Cancer, the sign of Cancer. And what does Cancer rule in the natural zodiac? It rules the 4th house. And since the number 7 speaks to the Chariot, remember the 7 can speak to a number of conflict, but what else does number 7 speak to? It speaks to the intellectual, into the mysterious. Even if you think of Cancer, which is ruled by the moon does hold a mysteriousness about it. I would say that 2023 is a year of preparation, and 2023, they do say with the astrological alignments, it will not be an easy year. There can be a lot of danger to it, and we see what's going on with the war, the warlike energies, Russia, Ukraine, possibility of it expanding and growing. So the warlike energies, it's like a domino effect. We know that since 2020, with the beginning of the pandemic, it was all about a health crisis and fear, and where are we heading towards? It's the beginning of 2020 brought on a health crisis and a new narrative which has evolved into challenges where our financial securities are concerned. We know that the Nodal axis, which speaks to fated and karmic events playing out, with the North Node in Taurus, which is our finances, our securities. Pluto is control. Pluto can speak to the masses, to the many, control the people through an economic tragedy, as this is what we're seeing financially. Not only things that the earth provides us that we need to dig up, but also Taurus is, it's agriculture, it's our food, it's our resources. Yes, it's what money we hold in the bank, what land we own ourselves. Taurus is the money of the individual, my money. Remember that Taurus comes after Aries. And Scorpio comes after Libra, which is us, which is justice, which is balance. It shows the scales. Libra is the scales. Has there been justice between our relationships, between your partnership? We start off the year with Mars still retrograding in Gemini. Saturn will ingress into Pisces on the 7th of March. This is very important, a major shift. Pluto will ingress into Aquarius on the 23rd of March and will stay, he's visiting Aquarius Pluto is visiting Aquarius because he's going to go back and forth as he will retrograde back into Capricorn. He will keep doing that for a while, but we will go into the details further down the track. So 23rd of March until the 11th of June, Pluto will be at the 01st degree of Aquarius. Jupiter in Aries, as we start off the year, Jupiter is in Aries. Remember, he recently retrograded back into Pisces and then has returned and is still covering the degrees at the beginning of the year that he retrograded over. And he will be in Aries. He will stay briefly in Aries up until mid-May. Jupiter will enter Taurus in the second half of the year, so after the 16th of May, I can tell you. Venus will retrograde this year. Venus retrogrades every 18 months. So Venus will retrograde in Leo. She will have a long stay in Leo. So she will ingress on the 5th of June. She will retrograde on the 22nd of July. And then she will go direct on the 3rd of September. And she will leave Leo on the 8th of October. So she ingresses into Leo at the beginning of June and leaves Leo at the beginning of October. So from June till October, it's quite a long stay. So Leo being a fixed sign. So when I'm giving you this information, always think of which sign holds what energy. So what is Leo? It's a fixed fire sign. Now those of you that have been with me from last year and the year before, you know that Leo being a fixed sign has been greatly affected. I should say the axis Leo Aquarius, because Aquarius is opposite Leo. And the fixed signs generally, so Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus, Scorpio, where the nodal axis has been moving through. The fixed signs have been going through major karmic and fated changes. And Leo being in square, so in a difficult aspect alignment. Anyway, let's continue. And another very important shift is the eclipses that will be shifting from Taurus Scorpio, as I showed you before, into Aries Libra. Now the nodal axis, my dear friends, goes clockwise, whereas the planets go anti-clockwise. That's just a rough look at what the alignments will be of the year 2023. I hope that I haven't lost any of you along the way with the information. Anyway, if you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to ask beneath this video. You can comment. Now, looking at the first day of the year, just briefly before we go into other details, the first day of the year is like a snapshot of what's to come. Okay, so it's like a stigma, it's like a memory. So how does the year kick off? We've got Venus on Pluto. Venus in Capricorn, not a strong position. And on Pluto, remember that the 2020 conjunction, major conjunction, the beginning of 2020, when we had that alignment of how many planets, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Venus, everything past. It was the Capricorn season at the beginning of the year. Always it's Capricorn season, but we had an alignment of major outer planets which kicked off this new age. So the outer planets, obviously, the conjunction of Pluto and Saturn, and Mars being the trigger planet, but also Jupiter, which expands. the energies, the challenging energies. Remember, Pluto and Saturn are malefic planets. Mars is the trigger. Mars is also a malefic planet. Jupiter expands and exaggerates the harshness of the malefic planets, the malefic alignment, we can say. Capricorn is a Saturn-ruled sign. Saturn was in its home. So this beautiful sextile here with the South Node says that it's time to release. We've got the possibilities and the ability to release anything karmic that we've been holding on to from the past so that we could feel lighter. We will have a less heavier load as we are taking that journey moving forward. Black Moon Lilith sees to that as well, as she is in a beautiful trine to the South Node here in Scorpio. Remember, Scorpio is Pluto ruled, and it does speak to a death and a metamorphosis. Okay, and she is very mighty. Black Moon Lilith is very mighty, and she's looking at whether there's been justice, whether there will be a healthy balance pertaining to the past and in opposition the future moving forward. What is it that we're wanting to create? What is it that we are wanting to work towards and build? Because Capricorn is all about building. Now, a beautiful sextile from Black Moon Lilith over to Taurus. Is there value in what we are wanting to nurture, love, and can we find that security, that emotional security within our homes, our environments, our place of residence, our country of residence? If not, then the possibilities are here for radical change so that we could release anything from the past where there's been bad blood with Black Moon Lilith. And it's got to do with the past. Dark thoughts, injustices. So this is a beautiful alignment of the planetary bodies, which are, yes, could be challenging, but the sun is, remember, Saturn is, it's a darker energy. It's in the northern hemisphere. It is winter. There's a hibernation, internal, going inwards, becoming isolated to see how we can prepare this new adventure, prepare ourselves. As you know, we've just recently gone through the solstice. It's a new era, a new stage that we are looking at. And obviously in the Capricorn season, we are looking back towards 2020 and even before that, as the planets are passing over the very critical degrees of where the conjunctions happen between the larger outer planets, the more powerful planets. So if you remember back, we also had Venus retrograding at the beginning of 2022 in Capricorn. Venus and Mercury, looking back at a year ago, we had Venus and Mercury at the same point in early 2022. So obviously this alignment of planets here at the beginning of the year will point back to the beginning of 2022. I think also roughly 2021 there were similarities here as well. We're passing through the same season of Capricorn, and usually remember that Venus and Mercury are never very far away from the Sun. Mercury can be one sign away from the Sun. Venus can get up to 2 signs away from the Sun roughly. So, you know, Venus and Mercury are never very far away. So they're always in the picture, let's say. The difference is that Mars was here in 2020 as well. Mars at the beginning of 2020 was transiting through Sagittarius and then towards March entered Capricorn. Anyway, as you could see here in the chart, we've got Mercury retrograding. He will retrograde on the 29th, or he retrograded today for me. When I'm doing this reading, it's the 28th of December. So Mercury is stationed, stopped, and turning retrograde tomorrow. But many of you will be watching this in 2023. So we see on the first day of the year, Mercury is retrograding here in Capricorn. Mercury obviously rules Gemini and Virgo, so he's not in a strong position here. Neither is the Sun. And now, just generally speaking, the year of 2023, the hardest period of 2023 will be March, when Pluto will ingress into Aquarius and Saturn will ingress into Pisces, but Mars will also finish up in Gemini, where he's been for months, since August, in March. But we'll go into a lot more information, just giving you that heads up of what's going on in 2023. So the most difficult and most dangerous time, as remember I did speak about the war and Mars moving direct, when he'll be passing over the same degrees that he retrograded over. That could be a little bit concerning. Let's go on to Jupiter. Jupiter will be transitioning through Aries until the 16th of May. Jupiter will enter Taurus, of May, and will continue for the rest of the year through Taurus. Jupiter will leave Taurus on the 26th of May of 2024. So end of May of 2024. Obviously, wherever Jupiter transitions through, whichever sign Jupiter passes through, he will bring those blessings. Remember, Jupiter is very positive. He is a benefic planet. So he will also be very positive, no doubt, for the fixed signs. Remember, as the fixed signs have been going through those challenges of the nodal axis on the Taurus-Scorpio area of the chart, now with Jupiter in May entering Taurus into a very beneficial sign, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, this will bring a lot of positive notes. I would call this here the uncovering of corruption, as we've seen a lot of scandals on Patreon here. So if you haven't gotten to watch it and you want to understand what Mars means and his retrograde cycle, which began on the 30th of October of 2022. We've got a wrong date here. The retrograde cycle started on the 30th of October. Okay, let's animate the chart a little bit and see what is important. First of all, Venus in conjunction with Pluto. This could speak to the beginning. We're stepping into the year through some sort of sadness or disappointment or even devastation. Venus on Pluto can be melancholy. We know that psychologically people are at the end of the road. They've had enough with so many challenges and so many so much death, so much loss, whether it's physical loss, financial loss, a loss of belief, whatever it is. Venus has just stepped on the 0 degree of Aquarius on the 3rd of January. This is where Pluto will be hanging out. Do you have anything at the 0 degrees of Aquarius or Scorpio or Leo or Taurus? This is important because as Venus conjoins with Pluto, this is a new synodic cycle